I think I'm going to untie the back first and then the front, because as soon as I untie the front it's going to push me back this way. It's not going to be easy. I should make sure I unplug the hose and the electric cable before I do anything, shouldn't I? Before I do all that, I guess I'll check that the engine's going to start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1. Come on. I feel quite nervous and I don't really know why. It's always a bit strange setting off in the dark, but it should be okay. I've got battery. The battery seems to be fine. It should be alright, should it? If it does cut off, we probably are safe still to just go anchor by can if it's going to be a bit risky going over to the island. So as you would imagine, the wind has just stopped blowing, full stop, which is not ideal. Literally the minute I set off, it's just like completely stopped. Just leaving this little part in because that kettlebell I've just put down, later on I hit a bit of a wave and honestly it was about an inch away from it would have just broke my toe. It went flying and I saw it like land right next to my foot. So yeah, not the best place to have put that. Anyway, here's the mainsail going up. Oh. So we've kind of set something to just try and keep the tiller fairly straight. It's not working incredibly well, but I don't know, actually I think it's working alright, to be fair. It's not that wavy at the minute, so that's quite good. I'm not sure this is a good load, to be honest. The one I had before got lost, but we'll give it a go. I can't keep affording 19 euros that the good lure is. This is a small one, but I forgot I was doing that then. It's probably back in Theoule Sur Mer. That's keeping us quite nicely intact. Anybody who knows anything about sailing will tell me that I'm talking absolute rubbish, but basically what I do is I just do it in a way that the side it wants to lean, I can either do that or do that. And yeah, I've still got to watch where I'm going, but it just allows me not to have to sit at the back steering, because now I'm going to try and get the hose and stuff tidied up so that it's a bit more comfortable. If I was to have to stay somewhere for a long time, that wouldn't be a bad one. Like, the scenery is just, it's just nice, isn't it? Right, we're inside. Let's get the engine turned off and see if we're actually moving, and I can get the actual GoPro mount instead of this one that keeps falling over. I definitely need to fathom a way of filming in the dark, because the GoPro just does a really bad job. The boat's actually sailing really quite well. We're doing like 4 knots. The engine's just on idling because every time I try to go in to turn it off, the boat loses course in the time it takes me to come back up, because then it's just the wind. It's strange really. I need a solution for it, but I might try again in a minute. But I also need to mention, because I'm going to forget, and it's meant to be an honest channel, when I was over there, there was just no wind. There was just no wind for a little, like, it must have been 20 minutes. And the boat, this is the first time I went to turn the engine off. It was moving, came back out, and then as I was trying to get, it had moved too far, and then every time I tried to get it to come back the way I needed to go, it would just stop dead. So like the no-go zone. So anyone watching who might have thought I was like, whoa, look at this guy, no, in the winter, whatever, all probably thought I was a bit silly, because I just turned, went back, turned, went back, turned, went back. Right, so an update. I finally got the boat to like point in a decent direction. It weren't cooperating for ages. There's still like a lot, like I think I've said multiple times already, I don't really know what I'm doing, in the sense that just getting the sail, like the sail trim, I guess. But you know, it was blowing about 7 knots of wind, but the boat was just going so slowly, but it was going just, you know, almost pointing into the wind. The problem was, whenever I tried to tack, it just weren't going quick enough to be able to actually complete the tack, and then it'd just spin back around the opposite direction. I think this boat's actually quite bad for that anyway, and not having the head sail as well, just it's difficult to have enough power. But you know, eventually the wind has shifted a little bit, and now we are able to go in the direction I need to go. But you know, across this bay, it was only about 5. It has no problem tacking when I don't want it to tack though. If you just heard that, it's just done it then. Anyway, it's not a tack, is it, when it does it on its own? It's probably called something else. But it's still pointing where we need to go. Yeah, I don't know. It's another reason I need to get the motor sorted, because when it's like that, I should, you know, put the motor on and then just go, because messing around for hours on end in a bay when you're not even going far just isn't really worth it. How it's going now, if you know, if this was a crossing in the day, it'd still be slow though. That's the thing. Like, even pointed just off the wind, it's really hard, especially in the dark, to keep the boat in the line it needs to be in while the sail's set and everything else. It just goes off a little bit and then you've kind of lost it. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought I'd put this bit in because normally this bit never gets recorded, but yeah, it's been fairly long. The boat is now trying to turn itself too, so I'm going to go sort that out. I'll put the motor on, but the thing with the motor is, while it won't run any more than pretty much idling, it doesn't really actually add any speed. Oh, right, we're anchored just off. I looked what this was called just before. That's my phone. So we're anchored just off. Find it again. Île Saint-Horat. Which is the island next to Îles de Lérins, so just off of Cannes. Yeah, I debated then just going and anchoring out of Cannes, but the way the wind was, it was, you know, the tack over there probably would have meant more messing around, and then this is all whole thing's taken a lot longer than I thought it was going to take, and it's not really protected from the swell so good, but the engine cut out, and then luckily I got it back on just to check that I could reverse on the anchor when I got the anchor down, but yeah, the engine cut out, so I don't know what's wrong with it, and it really needs a proper looking at. But obviously today I wanted to move from where I was, because if I was still there now, the swell would be awful. This rolling's it's not ideal. The boat would have still rolled where it was, but being tied, it'd have just, oh yeah, it just would have been a nightmare. Yeah, we'll see how we get on, because the boat is moving quite a bit, but I'm here now, I can't really move. Luckily, just as I tucked in behind the little island, which I'll show you in the morning, did take the wind away, and I could get the sail down easy enough. And I guess the only way to learn is to keep trying, so I will look tomorrow and try and look to see why it was going so slow. Normally there's not that much wind, but I couldn't get the boat to go, not only could I not get it to go closer to the wind, I also couldn't get it to turn away from the wind either. It was like it was being dragged into that, so anyone watching who knows what they're doing is it's probably an easy answer. But the mainsail, it's new since I started recording these. I used to like put the Genoa up and do some like lazy sailing with that because it was really easy to control, but the mainsail's a different game. I don't know the word, but yeah, I'll have a look and see where it might have gone a bit wrong, because even though we had to tack, it shouldn't have taken as long as it's taken. I was expecting to be in at like 11 o'clock the latest, and it's now 10 to 3, so just having a glass of wine. I'm going to get into bed, and I'm hoping it's a nice scenery in the morning. It should be. Sometimes I just want to blame the boat for everything, but maybe it's just anchoring generally. It's not even the movement that's the worst part of it, like it's just the noise. You don't see these bits normally. I remember when I was watching it, you know, loads of sailing YouTube channels and everything else, and just see the boat at anchor and it's all sunny and it's all nice, and then, don't know, there's this annoying, as I say, it's not even the movement that don't bother me that much, it's just the noise. You know, you go on and it shouldn't have been a long sail, but it was a fairly long sail, and then you get to where you go in and you put the anchor down, and then I literally picked this up to start recording because just before it was like 20 seconds of just morning. So got to sleep all right last night pretty much as soon as I got into bed. The wine definitely helped. This morning though, the swell's coming from the east, but the wind's coming from the east, the swell's coming from the south, and this morning it was just boom, boom, boom. It just wasn't nice at all. So it was an abrupt awakening at about 7 o'clock this morning. Checked the fishing. I thought I'd done it yesterday.
the low, another low down. So we're gonna try put some on there because a fish would be nice. I don't know. Maybe try with some something. Who knows what. Really, I was going to explore these islands, but I think I might come back and do that another time because I don't want to be in this swell all day. It's really just not fun. So I think the way the wind's going, I'm going to have to go all the way around that. Is it a monastery? I know one of these islands, loads of monks live on one of them, and I'm sure one of them has a winery, so I probably should go check that out, but there's just no protection apart from maybe over there, but I don't know. If I go over that way, it's going to be very hard to get back out because of the wind, so I'm hoping the sun comes out a bit because it's a miserable day, but at least it's not raining. I already sense it's going to be a long day. So I managed to get the slack out the bottom of the sail, so now it's set. Probably a bit better than it was yesterday, which was probably adding to the reason we weren't going. I've had to give up with navionics and I've just found a trial version of Sea Maps. Navionics just wouldn't give me like a consistent speed I was going at. I think partly because my phone probably is a bit off. Really, I need to get the actual chat plotters working again. I've got two of them. I need to get working. It's just silly not to be able to use them. I've only got two because I found one in the bin and it works, or did work, but now there's a problem with the electrics. Doing about 0.8 knots, but the wind is coming from over there, which is the direction we want to go in. You can see like the abbey over there, it looks really cool. It is a bit of a shame I'm not going to go explore these little islands. This one has a bit of a nature reserve on, but this swell's just going to get worse and worse as the day goes on. It's now started to actually match up with where the wind's coming from. Weirdly now I've come out of it, there was some rocks that looked really obvious. Oh no, is that over there? Yeah, never mind, ignore me. The motor needs, like, whatever I've done, I've asked on a few groups and people have said probably air getting in there. Again, it was just a bit, the boat was all over the place, there was no way of showing it on camera, and there's probably no way of showing what the swell is now. Will it tell me on here? Give me a second. Wave height. So the waves are 1 meter allegedly, probably about right. That's obviously not that high, but when that's hitting you side on, as it was this morning, it's not fun. The wind is meant to be picking up to about 14 knots, which is going to be the most I've sailed this boat in. It says the gusts could reach up to like 20. The wind direction's meant to change. So right now it's coming from over there, which is the direction I want to go, but then it's due to come from over there. So I'm hoping to get around that. I think it's a lighthouse just over there. That will then put me around the bigger island that's behind this island and like the rocky bits that are over there. And then the wind should change to be able to then push me in the direction of Antibes. I'm going to see how it goes this morning, whether I actually do push onto Antibes or if I just go into Golf Juan, whatever it's called, because Antibes a bit of a push around, but we'll see. So we turned around and we decided we were going to come this way around the island. We was trying to go out there and around, but the wind was coming straight from there, and the swell,
and the wind weren't matching up, so the boat, I was going just off the wind, but the swell was coming like also just off the wind, so I was struggling to get more than like 0.4 knots, and it was just crashing into these big waves. Literally it took me about an hour and 45 minutes to go not even a mile, and then it took me like half an hour to come back twice the distance. So we're now going all right, to be fair. The engine's just on neutral because it's charging my phone. Yeah, so I'm not too sure how we're going to get through there when we get to that, but we'll see. Can see Cannes Marina now, and yeah, that's from over there is where we came from yesterday. I wouldn't mind being anchored up. Like, the wind's gonna change a bit, but it's just one of them stressful mornings. Like, the inside of the boat went absolute carnage because I weren't expecting the waves to be as they were. But that's that, I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna come around this tip, but we've got to go around them buoys that are just over there, and then we're gonna see if we can go in that direction. We should be able to like tack once we get through there. We'll see what the swell's like though, because if it's anything like there, a meter's not terrible. Like if you know, sailing, but when you just up and down the waves, the boat just doesn't want to move. It just weren't fun. So we're probably not going to make Antibes now today, but we might just go pulling near Golf Juan, however you say it. So just over there is after my little moan before, the boat's actually moving alright now. It's saying it's doing 2 knots. Like it's going faster, it keeps swapping. I don't know. I think my phone is going off internet and not necessarily the GPS, and I think it's not giving me like a true read. And I'm not saying I'm going faster, it's just it keeps swapping and changing how fast it's going, and it does it even when I'm anchored and I'm not moving. Sometimes it'll pop up then saying I'm doing like 1 knot, and I'm like, oh, but I'm not. So, and it doesn't always point in the direction I am actually moving, so it's not very reliable. I'm wondering if just over here, if I can get close enough to land with the wind coming from there, and I can get 1 tack then along there, I should be alright. All of that ahead is like golf, I don't know why I just say it, Golf Juan, or however you say it. And then you'll be able to see coming up shortly. This is how like I know I'm moving a bit faster, and that's telling me like before, just that little bit of land would seem to just pass by like super slowly. But them boys just there, they've come up pretty quick, to be fair. So I would like to know actually how fast I was moving. You can see there's a fair few sailboats all around there, and then just beyond this tip of this island here, you'll be able to see like the tip of Antibes coming up. Ideally I'd just head straight to Antibes, like I'm not too bothered about being around Cannes. I'm not really a huge fan of the place, to be honest. It can be a bit dodgy at times. I had an incident on New Year's Eve there, where I got off the train and I picked the wrong door and was like attacked by three people who
was obviously fueled on some sort of drugs or whatever, but yeah, not a massive fan of Cannes. It's nice, but it's just another one of them like rich places. Antibes as well, but Antibes does have like a few expats, I guess, so it might be worth stopping there for a bit. And maybe I'd just keep going, because if I get into Italy, some stuff's a lot cheaper in Italy, and then I won't know until... Yeah, and if I keep going then, I've got Monaco. Because I've lived here for a while, all of these places aren't new, so it's not necessarily exciting to go to them because I've been to them all. But if I go, you know, after Antibes, then you've got like Nice. Again, it's a nice enough place. Can be a bit dodgy, but I mean, well, everywhere can be a little bit dodgy. Saint Laurent de Var as well is quite a cheap port if I need to go do some stuff on the boat. Or we keep going, and if we then get into Italy, because once we get to Monaco we're not far from like San Remo. Stuff's cheaper in Italy generally, like maybe not necessarily wine, but I can just make sure I take enough wine with me. And then I can say I went from Italy to wherever I went. Let's just make it sound a little bit further. As well with Italy, like Corsica and stuff, I quite like to go there. The problem is then if I go to Italy, then I'll be thinking, shall I go around Italy and into Greece? I don't really know where to go, but I do need to find somewhere really where I can make a bit of money, whether that is, I really don't want to do it, but whether I have to go work March, April and come back in May with just a bit more money, I might maybe have to do that. I don't want to, well, I am getting by, scraping by the last few months, and I don't necessarily mind, but you know, I need stuff for the boat, so it's all going well surviving, but then when it comes to having to like move the boat, you know, today I'd be doing twice the speed if I had a Genoa on at the front, when it comes to grip. An autopilot would just make life so much easier. And if I do want to cross the Atlantic next, I'm torn between crossing the Atlantic and sailing back to the UK. I don't know which one I'll do. Probably the Atlantic, but obviously, like, the thing that would make me tempted to go back to the UK, sail the boat back to the UK as well, is like just the experience of doing that before setting off across the massive ocean. And at the minute I'm struggling to sail from. It's actually sailing quite fine now. And actually, just as we're going around this tip, I've just felt the boat speed up quite a bit. You can tell we're going because I can feel the dinghy pulling behind, which I couldn't really at all yesterday. Anyway, I'm waffling on. I'll probably need to cut most of that. I'm just going to see when I get through here if I can tack, and then I'll know if I'm going to be able to make it around that tip of Antibes. So we battled for a bit and we battled for a bit, but we're going to go just anchor just over here. A few times we nearly, well, I don't know what I said. A few times I got like going around that bit there, but it was just taking too long, and the wind's going to die down in the next like 2 hours. I think it's the I think it's, without the Genoa it's really hard. Like I can't pick up enough speed when I'm going like just off into the wind. I can't think of the right term, but yeah, I just aren't getting enough speed. Like I can't get the boat to do more than 2 knots, and a lot of the time it's not even doing that. So The problem is then to tack as well, it's struggled to tack because the boat's not going quick enough, so as it turns it's not got enough momentum and it just hangs in the wind. I could have carried on persevering, but that would have been, you know, it got to night time and I've been struggling to find somewhere to anchor then. So here's got a bit of protection from these, looks like a bit of a hill inside. But, you know, there's a beach over there and there's a port, so I can go tie the dinghy up while I go to the shop. And then if need be, the strong will anchor out here, and then the strong wind that's coming on Sunday will go into a port for that. It's a shame though, because I'm probably not going to make it to Antibes now this week. Okay, so just so you know, the video, it's not broken. I just had to record some at the end because I can't do it on the GoPro because the SD card's full and I'm trying to transfer the stuff over, and I have to edit the video before I can get the files off the GoPro. So I'll keep this quick because I've talked a lot in that video. It was quite a long one, but I wanted to leave in the parts of how I was struggling to get the boat to turn and everything else, because it's, as I say, it's the reality of it. And up until now, I didn't really have any footage of me actually struggling to sail because I was normally just struggling or the engines broke or whatever else. But as I say, I'll keep this bit short. I just wanted to say thank you for watching. The channel's now on around about 300 subscribers, but it grew from like 200 to 300 quite quick, so I'm really happy with that. And I know I say it all the time, but if you could like the video, it really helps. Like, one of the videos quite quickly got a few likes, and YouTube, I saw how much has boosted it. So you'd be doing me a big favour if you could do that. There was someone I had to thank for supporting the channel, but the place I'm in right now, I can't connect to the internet, so at the time of editing this video I won't have been able to thank. But if you watch out in the next one, I'll make sure I've got on there. But thank you to everyone who has supported through that coffee page so far. Thank you to everyone who's liked. Thank you for everyone who's commented. And a bit of a quick real-time update is there's recently been a little bit of a crisis, and that's why I haven't been on and responded yet to any comments and everything else. But yeah, I am still here. I'm okay. So, you know, don't worry. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks again.